Hey, how's it going, guys? So we're back for another Republic history video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. So this one is called The Hutt's Dark Plot to Conquer the Republic. Now, this is the 5th video out of 12, so after this one there's 7 more to go. But the Hutt's Dark Plot to Conquer the Republic. So the first time I saw Jabba the Hutt and learned about like the Hutt cartel in the Clone Wars, it really surprised me like how much influence, how much authority the Hutts have. Because if they are a cartel, and I remember it being said numerous times in the Clone Wars that there is like Hutt space, so there's a huge chunk that the Hutts control. And I do remember, spoiler alert, when Darth Maul and his brother Savage Opress, along with the Death Watchers, they tried to like make an alliance with the Hutts. And if Darth Maul wants you part of that team, that means you got some serious access and serious power. So if the Hutts have a plot to conquer the Republic, and if, I don't know if it really did happen, well, we're gonna see what's gonna happen, but if the Hutts succeed, then they are no joke. If they have enough power to conquer the Republic, then it's obvious that they're not to be messed with. But I'm really curious to see like what happened, like how it failed, or just like anything, like maybe they did succeed and it just didn't last long, but who knows. So without anything else, let's get into it.
Jabba the Hutt was said to have lived by a simple axiom: too much of a good thing is never ever enough. This mentality was shared by most members of his species, the bloated slug-like Hutts, who are one of the wealthiest and most powerful races in the galaxy. Virtually all of this wealth and power was ill-begotten, a result of criminal activity and ancient imperial conquests. Their greed and ambition knew no bounds, and thousands of years before the Battle of Yavin, these traits led them to concoct a plan to take over the known galaxy. We'll be discussing that plot and the Republic's equally abhorrent response to it.
Whoa,
in this
look at him!
5th installment of our series on the history of the Republic.
Alright, I'm really excited to see.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
Our story resumes where it left off at the end of the last episode, in 15,000 BBY, at the end of the Indector era. Up to that point in time, despite some early civil wars, the Republic had managed to insulate itself from major threats, as most of the civilizations it encountered only spanned a few star systems at most. However, as the Indector era ended and the Chimodon era began, that was about to change. By 15,000 BBY, the Republic had made contact with several alien civilizations that had neglected to join it, including the Bothans of Bothawui, the Nautilans of Glianselm, and the Zabraks of Iridonia. Taiwanese explorers told tales of the distant alien world Salin, while Republic scouts started to push further into the slice. But the Republic was also coming up on the borders of 2 major alien empires, the Herglic Trade Empire and the Hutt Empire. The Herglic Trade Empire controlled a large swath of the southern core, just off the Republic's western border. From their homeworld of Giju, the whale-like Herglics had influence over many civilizations, including Abrogado Array, the Dolfirm Planet States, and the Botor Enclave. The Herglics were powerful, wealthy, and highly advanced, having first taken to the stars 2,000 years before the Republic's formation. Fortunately for the Republic, they were also quite friendly. They had known the Republic since its formation thanks to regular trade with the Duros, and the Republic had little to fear from contact with them.
Oh,
The
that's good
Hutts,
news.
however, were another story entirely. Like the Herglic Trade Empire, the Hutt Empire was founded long before the Republic, and it grew to be quite wealthy and powerful, having enslaved entire species over the years. Ruled from the ancient Hutt homeworld of Val, the Hutt Empire had been known to the Republic since the Taiwanese War in 24,000 BBY. As the Republic pushed further into the Rim, it was cautious of this distant empire of gluttonous slugs, unwilling to come into conflict with them. The Hutt Empire, meanwhile, didn't bother much with the Republic, at least while the Republic's colonies were still far from its borders. When Republic settlers started colonizing worlds closer to Hutt space, however, the Hutts responded with raids, slaughtering or enslaving the populations of entire planets. Though both sides stopped short of a full-scale war, a confrontation between the two great civilizations became inevitable. Fortunately for the Republic, the Hutt Empire imploded before that could happen. 15,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, the Hutt Empire tore itself apart in a civil war called the Hutt Cataclysms. For unknown reasons, Hutt clans turned terrible weapons against each other, reducing some of their most ancient colonies to lifeless wastes. Worst of all, the Cataclysms claimed Val itself, which had its atmosphere vaporized and surface obliterated. Greatly weakened, the surviving Hutts regrouped at the planet Evokar, which they renamed Nal Hutta, and attempted to cobble together a new civilization. With the Hutt Empire gone, the Republic experienced another period of booming expansion, much like the earlier Great Manifest period. But the Hutts had led the Republic to develop a greater sense of caution about colonization efforts, leading to the re-establishment of the Republic Navy in 15,000 BBY. In its first few years of service, the new navy proved itself in border conflicts at Kolbon, Esaga, and the Sundered Vale Nebula, as well as in a brief war against the Aquilish of Ando. It also kept Republic borders safe during the Herglic Crush of 14,743 BBY, a civil war within the Herglic trade empire. Following the Herglic Crush, there were concerns within the Republic about whether peace with the trade empire would last. But these fears were assuaged in around 13,000 BBY when the Herglics and their empire decided to join the Republic. Of course, the Kaimudon era wasn't all fun and games. Starting in 14,500 BBY, the Third Alsacan conflict began, which saw Coruscant loyal Republic forces attack Alsacani allied worlds in the Comenor Run campaign, hitting Katadar, Alderaan, and finally Tapassi before attacking Alsacan itself, destroying the city of Rupakar. That conflict ended in 14,300 BBY, after which there was peace for about 500 years. A fourth Alsacan conflict followed from 13,800 to 13,200 BBY, shortly after which a fifth Alsacan conflict erupted in 13,050 BBY. That conflict was focused around the northern dependencies, the Republic colonies north of Coruscant, which had been largely settled by Alsacan. In that conflict, Alsacani Admiral Herkin, equipped with a fleet of brand new cruisers, commanded a furious defense of these colonies, routing Republic forces at Borlius, Twith, Zafel, Dakut, Gli Anselm, and Iridonia. His efforts ended the conflict in Alsacan's favor in 12,700 BBY. This was just in time because the Republic was starting to have real problems right about then. Proper contact was finally being established with the Hutts, as Republic scouts had blazed a hyperspace lane, the Utmian Pabol, from Jindain to Nal Hutta itself, the Hutts' new homeworld. This contact renewed concerns about the Hutts, and not without reason. After the loss of Val, the Hutts had moved to Evokar, which they brought piecemeal from the native Evokai through a series of scams.
I remember that place from the Clone Wars.
After taking the planet, which was renamed Nal Hutta, they all but exterminated the Evokai. Inspired by this new method of conquest, the Hutt leader, Budila Hestelik Amura, instituted a philosophy called Kajidik. In line with Kajidik, the Hutts put an end to the old imperial ways, eschewing military conquest in favor of achieving economic control over planets and organizations. This ultimately led to the formation of the Hutt Cartel, which became a powerful force in the galactic black market. By the time of the forging of the Utmian Pabol, the Hutts and their black market had become wealthy and powerful enough to infiltrate the Republic itself. The Hutts wanted to take over the Republic, but not militarily. Rather, they sought to seize control of the Republic's economy and thus indirectly conquer the galaxy from within. From the beginning, the Hutts were met with success. The Galactic Senate was already corrupt, and the Hutts were easily able to corrupt it much further to their own benefit. But the growing corruption and gridlock in the Republic had an unintended side effect. It led to the rise of a religion called the Pius Dea. Centered around the worship of an entity called only the Goddess, Pius Dea became popular among the humans of the core worlds due to its emphasis on purity, internal policing, and the purging of unsavory elements within communities. However, the religion had a dark underside to it. Pius Dea was violently humanocentrist, deeming virtually all alien species as impure and lesser in comparison to humans. In 11,987 BBY, a Pius Dea conspiracy in the Galactic Senate saw the corrupt Bothan Supreme Chancellor, Pius Ilya, impeached and assassinated, with Constipex I, a Pius Dea adherent, rising to replace him. So began the Pius Dea era, a dark time for the Republic. Over the course of the next few decades, Constipex transformed the Republic into a theocracy, handing over virtually all important government positions to members of the Pius Dea hierarchy. Those of you who have seen our previous video on this era know what came next. In 11,965 BBY, Constipex declared war on the Huts, sparking the first of the 34 Pius Dea Crusades. These
34?
horrible genocidal wars between the Pius Dea Republic and various alien civilizations dominated the next millennium, as millions of human soldiers crowded onto cathedral ships and stormed alien worlds with cries of "the goddess wills it." Under the guidance of Constipex I and his successors, who all took the name Constipex in his honor, they wiped out entire species and ruined the civilizations of many more, carrying their wealth and resources back to the core aboard galleons. The first few Pius Dea Crusades were directed against the Huts, as the Huts were widely hated in the Republic. In the first, second, third, and fourth Crusades, the Crusaders pushed the Huts back rimward through wild space, slaughtering any non-humans they encountered along the way. The brutality these Crusaders showed in these early battles shocked many in the Republic. The Jedi Order, in particular, condemned the Crusaders' actions and cut ties with the Republic, withdrawing to Ossus and refusing to participate. Though they were, at that point, unwilling to actually battle the Republic they were sworn to protect. Of course, some Jedi Knights fought against the Crusaders anyway, while a few troubled souls joined them, falling to the dark side and becoming the Order of the Terrible Glare. After the first few Crusades, the Pius Dea turned their attention to other alien species. While aliens and alien-sympathetic humans were hunted down and branded heretics within the Republic, the military began attacking neighboring civilizations. In 11,884 BBY, the Great Northern Crusade, or the Seventh Crusade, saw bloody assaults on the Zabraks and the Ithorians, while the Crusade of the Wilds in 11,791 BBY, or the 10th Crusade, saw the genocide of various species living along the Salen Corridor. Fortunately, not everyone in the Republic was keen to go along with this madness. In 11,820 BBY, the Alsacani finally did something useful in the 6th Alsacan conflict, during which they established lines of communication with the Duros, Hergliks, Huts, and other alien species. The Alsacani offered these species covert protection from the Republic in the centuries that followed. The Pius Dea Crusades went on for nearly a full 1,000 years and featured many terrible atrocities. The 11th Crusade devastated Herglik space, while the 12th Crusade saw the Republic bomb the Saracens of Saracenia III and the Terrasens of Terrassa back into the Stone Age. Not every species the Pius Dea fought was wiped out, however. The Baragwin, the targets of the 15th Crusade, were able to weather the storm, as were the Bothans and Lennox, the targets of the 23rd Crusade. By 11,500 BBY, the Pius Dea dominated millions of worlds, a mix of human colonies and conquered alien worlds. Many of the remote colonies became ordnance/regional depots, or ords for short, which were essentially naval fortress worlds. On these worlds, many of which retained the prefix ord even to the modern era, the Pius Dea housed fleets of sinister cathedral ships, tasked with laying waste to any nearby alien civilizations perceived
I like
as
the
a
designs
threat,
of those.
alongside smaller man-o'-war vessels and primitive bi-wings. But despite the establishment of this well-oiled military machine, the Pius Dea's wars began to stall in around 11,100 BBY.
Looks like something from Warhammer 40,000.
As a result, the zealotry of the Pius Dea Republic turned inwards, and a bloody series of inquisitions began. As the Republic tore itself to shreds, Kamasi diplomats finally convinced the Jedi Council to end their centuries-long recusal and the Order entered into a conspiracy with the Kamasi, the Al-Sakani, and an alliance of other alien species. After the 34th Crusade in 11,057 BBY, they spread a secret heresy among the Pius Dea, allying with millions of renunciates in the military who were sick of all the cult garbage. In 10,967 BBY, these heretics declared themselves, sparking the Renunciation, a brutal civil war that was also known as the Seventh Al-Sakane Conflict. Under the leadership of the Jedi, the Renunciates, the Al-Sakani, and their alien allies waged war across the galaxy, smiting Pius Dea fleets at Ord Mirit, Ixtlar, Fondor, Ord Carida, and Cyrilia. Most of the Republic military defected to join the Renunciates, but the Pius Dea faithful nonetheless retained their fleets of cathedral ships and their crusader armies. However, a year into the war, the cult was dealt a killing blow when the Bureau of Ships and Services sided with the Renunciates. The Bureau seeded every cathedral ship in the fleet with bad Navi computer data, forcing the ships to jump out into the middle of nowhere and then remotely disabling their hyperdrives. Most of the surviving Crusaders were left to starve in the void, as they damn well deserved. But the vanguard of the Pius Dea fleet was sent to Uquine, where it was routed by the Jedi and the Renunciates. After a team of Jedi Knights boarded the fleet's flagship, the Flame of Synthara, and captured Contispex 19, the Pius Dea finally collapsed. The cult was purged from the Republic, and its leaders were imprisoned for life. An uneasy period of rebuilding and reconciliation ensued, during which the Jedi all but took over the Republic in a bid to put it back together. They were unsuccessful in the end, but worse problems than the Pius Dea were soon to follow, as a new threat to the Republic blossomed within the Jedi Order itself. But that's a story for another time.
Alright guys, that was a really good video of how the Hutts had a plot to conquer the Republic. So, it does make sense. Instead of like taking over by like military force, just like invading worlds and conquering them, we could do it from the shadows, from the black market, and take it over economically. So that way, they have like a steady income and like a steady flow of money towards them, and that would explain why they're insanely rich. But I did not know about Nal Hutta like that. Like it was a different planet, and they just wiped it out and renamed it, and it became their like center homeworld, or like center of operation, I guess you could say. And I did not know anything about the Pius Dea or the Herglics. So I learned a lot in this video, and it was great, even though it was only like 16 and a half minutes long, but still great video. Now the next one is called The First Sith Lords and Their War with the Jedi. So I guess this is where we're going to start encountering the Sith, because in the videos, including this one, before this, were all just like internal conflicts, like some branched off and just fought each other, or they made their own independent systems, and how the Republic faced like multiple civil wars. But now this is where they're gonna have to unify to fight against a new enemy, the Sith Lords. So I'm really excited to see that video, but I don't know if I'm gonna watch it today. But either way, keep an eye out for that video. So again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed my reaction to this video, and as always, keep an eye out for more content and hit that notification bell so you know when I drop a new video. And check out my other videos I have on my channel. And again, thank you guys so much for your continued support in this channel. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you guys are having an amazing day or night wherever you guys are. And I'll see you guys next time.